Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Web3 Masterminds hosted by Cryptopolitan and Forward Protocol. And today, really excited to welcome Vaibhav from Bitliberte. He's the founder, or one of the founders. And welcome, Vaibhav. Great to have you here.
Thank you very much for having me here today.
Now, I believe that Bitliberte is a DAO-based ecosystem of exclusive NFTs, basically based around the fashion industry. Can you just give me a little bit of background on the project, how you guys started, how the idea came about, and just what Bitliberte actually is?
Definitely. So initially, we were working to launch a simple fashion brand in 2018. But after that, I started working with one of the largest Indian crypto exchange. I have spent there like 3 to 4 years. There I have explored cryptocurrencies in depth. I've explored blockchain, and I've even explored the consumer behavior, how people behave in the Web3 world. That's how our product track switched from the traditional fashion company to a Fashion 5 product. So Fashion 5 basically means that we are working to bridge the gap between fashion and finance world with our DAO-based ecosystem, Metaverse assets, and exclusive NFTs.
That's actually really interesting. So just tell me, I mean, the fashion industry is an absolutely huge industry. And I believe that your project is both like Metaverse based and has physical outlets. How does that actually work?
Basically, what we are doing is we are powering, like you can see, many big brands are entering in Metaverse right now. They are introducing their NFTs, but they are not serving the mass crypto audience with their physical products. So we are doing both things. I mean, on physical outlets, people can start owning our physical outlets, which means they will start earning dividends from the sales that we are generating from each specific outlets. So this is being done, executed by Liberté DAO. And in Metaverse side, let's say you are in Sandbox, you are having a character there. So you can start purchasing Metaverse assets from your Metaverse avatars in the Sandbox, which will be
awesome.
powered by Bitliberte. Right.
Right, that actually makes a lot of sense. So tell me, if I was a user, what would the user journey look like for me? So let's just say I'm a normal fashion buyer and I love fashion and I come across Bitliberte and I want to engage. What are the benefits for me and how do I actually engage with the project?
Exactly. So let's say you are a Web2 fashion user, you usually shop from Shein, right? So you're shopping from Shein.com, you are purchasing hoodies, t-shirts, or whatever you like. In that sense, you are just paying to the company. You are not getting anything in return, right? But with Bitliberte, what you can do is you can also become a part of our company by owning NFTs. NFTs will allow you to own specific ownership of fashion design. Like I am wearing this Geeks Will Control Plus as the world. So we will issue specific.
That's a nice hoodie.
Thank you. Exactly. So users can, we will be issuing a few pieces of NFTs of this fashion design. Users can own this and they will start earning dividends from the sale of this specific hoodie. Similarly, we will be choosing specific designs and those designs will be marketed across all digital and even newspaper mediums, which will allow, which will give immense value to those NFTs. So as a user, you can have ownership in our stores, in our products, and everything. You can be part of this economy.
That's actually very, very interesting and really appealing for somebody that loves the fashion world, that loves that industry. So tell me, let's talk about your particular hoodie, which is really cool. How would I earn an income off that via NFTs? Because I'm imagining that is sold in a physical outlet. And it's going to be linked somehow to the NFTs. How do I derive some benefit out of it?
Absolutely. So let's say we are launching a simple e-commerce platform at first, which will have thousands of designs, right? Out of those thousands, we'll pick few like 5 to 10 designs. We will, for this specific hoodie, we are issuing 3 pieces of NFTs, which will be sold to the users at $100 or something. After that, we will market this hoodie via all mediums. Like we will put out a newspaper ad saying get 30% off on this specific hoodie from this to this date. It is like Amazon sale. So that way we are marketing to get more sales and diverting the benefits to the NFT holders. They will get like 30 to 40% of dividends, like fraction of profit from each sales.
Okay, that actually sounds pretty cool. So basically, I would go into the application and I'd browse for a particular product that I like, that I wanted to back essentially, and I could say I love that hoodie and I want to buy a $100 NFT for that hoodie. And then once you've actually, so those NFTs that you're buying, are they limited NFTs that users would buy for that particular product?
They are very limited. 3 to 10 pieces maximum.
10 NFTs maximum. Okay.
Right. 3 to 10 per design.
3 to 10. Okay. And then on the actual sales side, in the fashion world and the outlets and that, or on your store or whatever it is online, how many of those particular hoodies would be sold? What is the potential for me as an investor in actually buying that NFT?
This is the very interesting part. I mean, there is no limit on number of hoodies to be sold. Like if we are getting 200K orders, we are ready to ship it, because we are not outsourcing material from anywhere else. We have our own manufacturing units. We have the capacity to fulfill up to 500K orders in a day.
Okay, wow, that's incredible.
Right.
I mean, that is amazing potential if you think about it. I mean, I buy 1 of 10 exclusive NFTs for that hoodie, and you ship 200K's worth of hoodies, and the NFT holders, you say, would get about 30% as a return.
Exactly.
Wow, that's incredible, Vaibhav. Very novel idea, and it certainly will allow a lot of people to actually get into that industry and to participate. And the hoodies that you're selling, is it sold through just online, or is it sold through like real outlets out in the world? How do you actually market it, apart from what you've told me with newspapers, online, etc.?
We have both physical and digital outlets. Like let's say if we are launching a new store in Tokyo, Japan, what we'll do is we will take a DAO pool live. Users can come and start investing in it. They can even own that store fractionally. So it means if let's say a user is investing $100, each ticket is worth $100, and let's say 100 users are investing. So all the profits will be distributed among those 100 users.
Okay, just explain to me about owning the store. How would a user do that?
Sure. So we are taking Bitliberte DAO live, which will have a specific pools with limited number of tickets at a fixed price. Users can come and invest in it. They will be issued. We will contact them, and then they will be issued a specific. Their email IDs will be linked with our database, and we will start sending them dividends from sales.
Okay, so and that store that I would own as a user, is it a virtual store?
It is a physical store. It is a physical outlet.
It's a physical.
Right.
And are these existing physical outlets? So we'd basically be partnering with the person that owns that physical outlet and earning some income out of that outlet.
These are Bitliberte powered outlets. It means that, let's say, you might have seen IKEA is selling products online and they also sell it offline. So same way, yes, they are Bitliberte powered outlets.
Okay, that's really interesting. Very, very interesting. And Vaibhav, tell me, what is your sort of target market? I mean, are you India based? What is your sort of geographic location?
Right. So we are targeting entire South Asian region, but initially we are starting from India and then expanding to Indonesia, Japan, and few other countries.
Okay. And the style of fashion?
Sorry?
What style of fashion?
Streetwear.
Streetwear. That's amazing. Yeah, it's sort of that really appeals to the type of user that would be interested in NFTs, etc. It's very smart.
Absolutely.
That's actually,
that way we are bringing more users to Web3.
Okay, that's awesome. And you obviously, the metaverse, etc., is a big part of what you're doing. How would that tie in with your concept, with VR, etc., in the fashion industry?
I mean, we are basically just building metaverse assets. Like when we are building t-shirts and joggers and other things for metaverse, we will be partnering with existing metaverse worlds, and that way we are scaling this.
Okay.
Like Sandbox, there is Somnium Space. We are partnering with a few platforms like this.
And can you explain to the listeners what is the connection between the metaverse, where I might be buying a virtual hoodie, and a Bitliberte outlet where I'd actually go and buy a physical hoodie?
People owning metaverse assets, they can directly come and prove that it is their address, and they can claim their physical delivery for the same product. Like if someone is buying this hoodie in metaverse, they can also come to us and claim that this is their address, they want to claim it, and they will get delivery of this particular hoodie in real world.
And is that at an outlet or is that online?
It is online. It is both thing. Like you heard about the dark store model?
Yes.
Right. So dark store model, I'll explain a brief for the audience. So it is basically allowing you to ship anything in 10 minutes. Like in India, you get a grocery delivery in just 10 minutes. So the thing is, we are similarly launching our stores at specific big cities. Like in Amazon, you get 1 or 2 day delivery. We are doing the same thing via our dark stores. So that way we are saving cost on the shipping and everything, and we are speeding up the entire process.
So that's incredible. It's a wonderful way for someone to participate in the metaverse, but actually really get something physical, so they can connect the two. It's a brilliant gateway into Web3, because I think, you know, if you had to look at the number of people that are currently in fashion inside the Web3 space compared to the people that love fashion outside, love streetwear, etc. I mean, there's so many more people outside, but they don't understand how to come in. They don't understand, you know, what the gateway is.
So this is a very easy way to participate in fashion world while owning metaverse and other Web3 things.
Okay, excellent. And obviously on the education side, you know, normally as a fashion user, I might just come in and buy a hoodie, and I might buy it via an NFT in the metaverse, but I do have the additional benefits of the actual finance side of it, you know, the fashion fire, which so I can earn revenue or a passive income out of the, you know, accumulated revenue that actually goes through the project. Is that correct?
Yeah, correct. So anyone can start owning and earn passive incomes from the sales that we are doing in real world or even digitally. Okay,
excellent. That sounds amazing. The other thing I wanted to ask you about, which is obviously a big concern going forward with companies contributing to climate change, environmental, etc. I see you guys have got ecological upcycling. How does that work in your environment?
Basically, you might have heard about thrift store concepts, right? So people buy old clothes and they start selling it directly. What we are doing is we are buying old clothes, we are starting to donate it. There is a huge issue of carbon emissions from these old clothes which doesn't get recycled properly. So we are recycling those old t-shirts, hoodies, and making it to something new, like handbags and other things, tote bags for shipping, which is saving plastics and other things. So there are a lot of things that we are doing parallelly to contribute into this ecological upcycling while reducing the carbon emissions.
Yeah, it makes sense because you know, streetwear and what have you. I think there's a lot of value that can be derived out of clothes that have maybe had a single use and can be repurposed to have a multiple use, which is really great. There's still a lot of value in them, which is good.
So this is not allowing fast fashion products to get dumped into the garbage waste, and we are basically recycling it.
You find in India there's a lot of awareness around the whole recycling and you know, getting away from single use? Is that something that's very relevant in your environment?
In India, there is no education right now regarding the fast fashion, and hence we are targeting this thing because we are coming up with a new concept of Fashion 5. We are onboarding millions of users, and that is how we are getting them, educating them around this concept.
Okay, that makes sense. And your target audience, is it a specific age group that you target for the streetwear, or is it right across the board?
It is absolutely a specific age group because people from 14 to 30 will just wear that. People above
14 to 30.
Right.
Hey, man, there I was thinking your hoodie is amazing. I'd buy one, but I'm sorry, I fall out of that age group.
I mean, that's absolutely fine. Anyone can wear it, but usually in India, people of that age group prefer the streetwear things. When we go to
excellent.
Right, definitely.
And even though I'm not Indian based, or I'm not in Southeast Asia where your footprint is, I can still participate in the ecosystem and own a piece of the store, or participate in that whole ecosystem? Explain how that would work to the audience.
People from anywhere in the country other than few restricted ones can participate in it. Like if you're from USA, you can come and participate in it. If you're from Indonesia, you can participate in the ecosystem by simply connecting your MetaMask wallet and investing in the DAO pools. It will work that way.
Okay, excellent. And tell me, with what you're doing and where you are now, you've obviously made brilliant progress. Where are you in your sort of roadmap, and what are the milestones we can look forward to coming up through this year?
Absolutely. So the thing is, our roadmap is basically milestone based. Right now, we are in initial stage of product launch. We are working on our token sale. And meanwhile, we are also developing our e-commerce portal. Basically, right now, both founders are working as devs. I am working on the front end. We have one more founder. She's working on back end and other things related to blockchain. So we are
excellent.
Commencing our token sales. We are in the seed round at this moment. As we progress, as soon as we close token sale, we will take e-commerce version 1 live, e-commerce portal version 1 live.
Okay. And is that something that will happen this year?
Absolutely, it will happen this year, which is around June or maybe next month after June or July. Okay.
All right, that's excellent. And with your roadmap, what is the first focus? Is it an online distribution system, or you said you're working with your e-commerce side?
Our first focus is to start an online distribution system and onboard a lot of users. As we are seeing in fashion thing, we have big players as competitors, because in Web3 there are no small fashion companies entering. There is Adidas, there is Gucci, there is Nike. So to compete with such big companies, we need a huge user base. That is why we have made a milestone based roadmap, so that we can keep completing our goals, and then we expand the entire product.
And is Bitliberte driven by internal designers and fashion? So you create, you design, and you manufacture your own products, or is it an open ecosystem for other designers to come in and sell via your program?
Any designer can come and join in our ecosystem. Basically, we are incentivizing those designers with Bitliberte token, BUSD and USDT, and even fiat currency if they prefer to do it. So it will be an open system for designers and artists.
Okay, that's great. Vaibhav, can you just explain to designers that could be listening, how would they participate in the ecosystem? How do they get involved?
Initially, at this stage, they can basically contact us and send their designs, or they can talk with us and start working on it. As we progress to make sales, they will start receiving their own profit, dividends, with a fixed salary.
Okay, so they basically would distribute via the platform. And so if I had a design and I registered and I became part of your designer stable or the internal designers, would I be doing the manufacturing, or would you be doing the manufacturing?
We are doing the manufacturing. We are stitching ourselves. We are printing it ourselves, and we are shipping it from our own manufacturing units.
Okay, that makes it really easy for someone that doesn't have the infrastructure and the resources to actually get out and get decent pricing and to get economies of scale.
Exactly. So it's not just like you are receiving a fixed salary, you are also getting a profit from our products. It is like you are a partner in the entire ecosystem. So that way designers are getting fair pay.
Okay. Is there any limit to the number of designers that you'd be accepting?
It totally depends on the audience. If we have more audience, we have to take more designs live every day. So that is how it works.
Yeah, it's very interesting. It's just listening to you, it's you really are creating a gateway for designers that often, especially in sort of streetwear or smaller designers, etc., that are marginalized by really big companies. They can't compete. The cost to actually get into the industries is enormous. They don't have the technical expertise or the development ability or the budget to actually go out and put a product or an online store together that can compete with bigger ones. And it's actually very much like what we do at Forward is, Forward is an infrastructure company, and we essentially are like the WordPress for Web3. So, in WordPress, that environment, anybody can go and create a website. They don't have to have the development side. They don't have to be able to code. They can drag and drop. They can go to a developer library and choose an application, and they can customize it. And that's exactly what we do, like a no-code type of environment. It sounds very similar to what you're doing in fashion. You're making it easy for people to actually come in and utilize Web3 and get the benefit out of it without having to have this huge tech overhead and knowledge before they actually do it, which is good.
Exactly. So that is why we have also partnered with Forward Protocol, because we were previously building everything by ourselves, but those few steps have been cut off as we are using Forward's technology to build the things.
Yeah, I think as the infrastructure and the space develops, and there's synergy between companies like Forward and Bitliberte, it allows so many more people to come into the space to actually benefit, and we almost do all the heavy lifting for all of the other companies that are going to come after us. That's why I ask you those questions about the designers, because there are so many people, so many talented people that might not really be business people, and they want the opportunity and the chance to connect with a bigger audience. They create beautiful products, but they don't know what the next step is, and you're just making it easy for them, which is really great. Yeah, nice, very, very nice idea. But it really does make sense to me, because I think it'll create an opportunity for so many people that now don't have that opportunity, which is wonderful.
Absolutely.
I want to just ask you maybe a little bit about the industry in general and your perspective on where you see things going. Now, we've spoken about being able to buy an NFT of a product in the Metaverse, and then take it and swap it and redeem it for a physical product online or in a Bitliberte store. Tell me your sort of ideas with the Metaverse. How do you see it developing? And I know we've gone through, I mean, right at the moment, it's like we're in that super growth phase where there's lots of interest and what have you. And like all things that get developed, it'll slowly dip off, and then the builders will start actually building out and creating what will become the Metaverse. And there'll be many, or however it develops. What are your views on that, and how do you see that unfolding?
I mean, as we can recently see that Yuga Labs has released a video related to Bored Ape, their NFT collection. In that, they are basically hinting towards bringing something like Disney on Web3. So that is a huge thing. I mean, as we can see, NFTs were a little bit overhyped in 2021, but right now we can see a lot of potentially strong projects entering here. Yuga Labs was here in very past, but we can see like Adidas is very active in this space. Adidas is daily posting on Discord. They are communicating with their audience. So that is how these people are basically building a proper version of Metaverse, which will be unfolded. I think that it will take 4 to 5 years more to come to its full potential at this point.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's going to take a bit of time to develop and to mature into something where people will actively have jobs, and but it will become a real part of what they do, the way they do business, the way we shop, the way we buy fashion, etc., which is amazing. Interesting point you make about NFTs. I mean, last year was that massive boom, and I think for a lot of people, certainly a lot of the people that I speak to in my circle that aren't in crypto and aren't in blockchain, they could never see the sense in paying that huge amount of money for a CryptoPunk or an ape. They just didn't understand the concept, and I think it was very focused on like people that created that type of art, and they'd sell that type of art. But what you're talking about is something completely different. How do you see the evolution of NFTs working, especially in the environment that you're in?
At this point, NFTs are basically beyond digital artworks. They are not just digital artworks like photos, images, and other things on blockchain. People are using it to prove authenticity of several things. Like you can see few NFT projects are working to prove your identification on the blockchain. There are few NFT projects that are working to allow you to store data on blockchain. Like you can store your educational qualification. In India, Mumbai government was introducing, was releasing the COVID certifications on blockchain. So it is a huge space that government authorities are taking across the world. Not
Yeah,
just government
definitely.
authorities, even private companies are bringing their medical records and other thing on NFTs. So at this point, it is a lot more than just the digital artwork.
Yeah, it is. It's developing a huge amount. I wonder if you wouldn't mind just taking a minute just to explain to the audience in quite sort of simple terms the different use cases that you see coming out, how that space, the NFT space, is evolving. And you can use fashion as an example, because I think it's a very vivid example, and it'll help them to understand what we're actually doing and where this whole industry is advancing to.
Absolutely. So one of the first use case on which we are working is giving ownership of designs to the users. Like if we are manufacturing a new t-shirt, we can give design to any user. They can start earning from it. They can have a ownership. They can have a proof that they are part of Bitliberte. Like there is a company called Flipkart in India, which is similar, somewhere how similar to Amazon. They have their own chain of electronic lines called Marq by Flipkart. So the thing is, if Flipkart starts issuing NFTs on blockchain and giving ownership of Marq products to the users, then any user can be part of their economy from anywhere in the world. So NFTs as a whole will allow users, it will be identifiers to prove ownership of those products for any users.
And tell me, what do you think are the sort of roadblocks in allowing it to become mainstream?
There is just one roadblock. Each countries have different laws around cryptocurrency at this point. So countries are not together with this. There is just this one roadblock which any strong legal team can start handling. They can have, like Amazon have different platform for Russia, it has different platform for India. We have Amazon.in here. In USA, they have Amazon.com. So similarly, by issuing a different version of NFTs complying with legal policies of each countries, this roadblock can be resolved, which I think is the only roadblock at this point.
Let's just talk a little bit about the legalities. I know India has its own complexities and ideas around cryptocurrencies, around blockchain, Web3, etc. How has that changed over the last year? And what do you see happening as we go through 2022?
Exactly. So when I started working with Bitbusiness, my previous workplace, there was a banking ban in India. I mean, we saw many big exchanges, like 4 to 5 big exchanges getting closed overnight. And that time, from Bitbusiness, I particularly learned this thing: no matter how bad the situation gets, we have to remain strong for our users. We don't have to leave the community. If we have community, we have support from the government, we have everything with us, right? So legality is the only concern when you are doing something wrong. If you are doing everything right, it is fine. Currently in India in 2022, they are not calling it illegal. They are not calling people criminals who trade in it. They have recently introduced a taxation policy, which is kind of unfair at this point, but we see a lot of positive amendments coming in the future. Because in our parliament, a lot of ministers understand blockchain technology in depth. Our police department understands it very well. Even beyond our imagination, even our income tax department understands it deeply. So at this point in 2022, things are really great as compared to 2019, 20, and 18.
Yeah, I think when the income tax department starts understanding it and the government can start earning a benefit out of it, then it becomes something that's useful, because ultimately we know it's not something that's going to go away, it's something that's here. And I think it's the next sort of step is to find proper legal mechanisms to include the government, because when that happens, they'll open the opportunities for companies to actually trade in the environments and for it to grow.
Exactly, because at this moment, companies from India basically get registered abroad instead of India getting registered in India due to some unfair laws, which will eventually improve with time.
Yeah, I mean, I also think it sort of allows the market to grow, because if you think about it now, we've got between 200 and 300 million people with wallets that are interacting in the Web3 space. It's still actually very small. It's a tiny market cap globally, from the potential that it could be. It could be 100 times that in the next 10 years. But the things that are prohibiting, companies in the fashion industry, companies in finance, companies, all sorts of companies from coming in is law and obviously their corporate governance. So I think the will is there, and they're sitting, looking, thinking, we better get some crypto assets in our balance sheets, and we better, put our foot in the water and start doing this, because the potential could be enormous. And I think they're probably getting a lot of pressure from shareholders, etc., that are saying, why aren't you doing this? But their hands are tied. They can't do it because of corporate governance and the legal aspects and what have you. Is there a big push in India to, I mean, there's obviously a big incentive, but is there a big push to overcome that? Do you see the legal system working actively towards finding solutions?
I have personally talked with a lot of ministers and people in the police department around this thing. So the thing is, they are pushing it really well. They are trying to understand DAOs. They are trying to understand even Polkadot auctions. They are exploring every aspect of it, from P2P and everything. So the thing is, they want to legalize it. They are working to legalize it, and they will eventually do it. Right now, they have not. It is in a legal status. It is not illegal. It is not legal. It is in between. But the thing is, it is a positive point for us that last month we have received our taxation slab policy for cryptocurrencies. It is really high. It is like 30% with no loss offset, but eventually amendments will come in this thing too.
So at this point in time, the legal framework says that you can participate, but you have to pay a certain tax.
Absolutely. We have to pay certain tax on any gain that we make in our country. It is same for everywhere. But the thing is, at this point, tax is pretty high. It is 30% with no loss offsets allowed and 1% TDS on each transactions, which we believe will change in next 1 or 2 years.
Yeah, I think it has to change to create the incentive for people to move into the space.
Exactly, because even Polygon was born from India.
That's right. I mean, what a great success story.
Exactly.
So it's, and I think as we see the future of work, like you were explaining about fashion designers, and, having a presence in a metaverse, I think that it has to change. It has to come about, because people will, as we're looking for more opportunities for an emerging, workforce, we need to find new solutions for them. And unless it's made easy and the legalities are taken care of, it sort of prohibits that. It stifles that creativity. It stifles them actually growing in that space.
Absolutely. We can say that Metaverse will create a new set of opportunity for people to network in this globally. Like we had Facebook in 2010, 2011, 12. People started getting jobs from it. They started selling online. They started doing a lot of things rather than just chatting. So same thing will start happening in the Metaverse.
Well, that's exactly it. I think in Web 2, with the advent of e-commerce and online trading, etc., and even games where people are participating and making money out of games, it brought a huge amount of people into that space, and that's what actually created the success there. And Absolutely. For us to bring those same people into Web 3, where they actually, as you described it really well, was they actually get ownership of a project like Bitliberte, where they can participate in the future profits. They can be shareholders in the ecosystem by holding tokens. They can, be part of that DAO. It's important.
Exactly. It's very important to start having ownership.
Yeah, but maybe you could just touch on DAOs, how you see them, how they are now, and the potential for the future.
At this moment, DAOs are basically used to take decisions in a project. usually, mostly I see it getting used for the community to take voting and other things, why their DAO and governance pools. In future, I see that multiple companies will start issuing their product ownership and other rights to raise funds and do specific things around the space.
Okay. And do you see governance being an important part of a DAO as it develops?
Governance is
for
a
the
very
community?
important part of DAO because DAOs are usually decentralized. DAOs are always decentralized. So the thing is, governance is very necessary because the community needs to take a positive, community needs to make decisions in order for a DAO to run smoothly. If a specific person or organization starts owning the DAO, then community will not be able to function properly and they will not be able to scale the DAO at a certain stage, which will tamper the growth of it.
So maybe you could just explain a little bit about governance and how it develops in an ecosystem and how it allows it to scale over time.
It is basically like taking, we do polls on Twitter, right? I will explain in a simple layman language. We do polls on Twitter.
Sure, that'll be great. Thank you.
Right. So we do polls on Twitter to receive opinion from the people. Similarly, in the governance ecosystem, what we do is we take polls live. People can use their tokens to vote to give their opinions. Like, let's say if I am saying that this month I wish to burn 25% of profits of our core products to use 25% of profits from our core products to buy back and burn the tokens, right? So I can give three options to the community that we are using 25% of profits, 30% of profits, or 40% of profits. Then the community can start deciding that what is good for the project, what is good for growing the entire ecosystem, and they can vote on it. Based on vote, the company will take the decision.
Nice example. And tell me how the weighting would work. So obviously, if I am a community member and I'm participating in the DAO, is it relevant the number of tokens that I actually hold to authenticate my sort of commitment to the project and my engagement with the project and how I can actually contribute to that governance in the DAO?
In Bitliberte, to contribute to the governance protocol, you will have to invest in the staking pool. You will have to invest a specific amount in the staking pool, and it will be locked for, let's say, 3 months or 1 month. That way, you can participate in the governance polls.
And typically with decisions in DAOs, you would have an announcement that you're going to be taking a certain decision over a period of time. So would I get pre-warning in that I could say, okay, I'm going to stake some tokens in the staking pool, and that'll allow me in 3 months' time to participate in the decision the DAO is taking about whatever it is, burning tokens, hiring, firing, whatever it is.
Exactly. So the thing is, there will be no such warnings. I mean, we will regularly communicate with the community via our Telegram group, Twitter channels, and alongside that, we will also keep taking regular DAO pools live. Right, like if we have to do a new partnership, let's say with Forward Protocol, they are already our partners, but I'm giving an example. So the community can decide that if we want to do partnership with Forward Protocol or not, is it good for our ecosystem or not? That way it will keep burning. And by staking the pool, the user is just, their tokens will not keep lying that way. They will receive even interest on it.
So it's a very simple system of participation, exactly as you've explained, via a poll, where a community member can come in and decide on a potential future partnership or the burning of tokens, etc., to allow them to, really access what we spoke about, which is the ownership side of Web3 and participating and being a vital part of that whole ecosystem.
Exactly. Like we have our strong buyback and burn mechanism in which we are using profits from our core products to buy back and burn products in every 3 months. That way we will take DAO pools live and users can decide on it.
Okay. That actually makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I think when you think about DAOs as the concept they are, and you look at the way our institutional organizations behave and function, like local government or institutions, whatever it is, the DAOs are really an amazing way of creating a fair system where the best interests of the community are at heart, because the community is actually participating in the outcome of whatever voting, and it doesn't rely on, you know, a hierarchical type system where you have one person or a committee deciding on your and my future. So it makes a lot of sense, doesn't it?
Absolutely, it makes a lot of sense, but I don't see that happening in next 40 to 50 years.
You're right.
Exactly, because the thing is, they love power. The current version of Web2 companies or normal real world companies, they love having power in their own hands with board members and with the owner. But I think a lot of Web3 companies, like a lot of new companies launching in Web3 or existing companies using DAO pools to distribute the power among the community. Like there was no product previously having such fashion-fi ecosystem as Bitliberte, but Bitliberte is the first one doing this around the globe. Similarly, I see a lot of other products coming here.
Yeah, I think when you get some companies that become unicorns and utilize a system like a DAO, and you have a vibrant working community that gets great results, it starts spilling over into other industries, and it gets evaluated on fair basis.
That will be the moment when real world companies start jumping to catch the train of Web3 and DAOs.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's so it takes all of the companies that are involved at the moment, and just to keep pushing and making sure that the DAOs are run properly, that there is proper utility, that the community gets the benefit, because as the community grows, you know, it benefits everybody in the whole Web3 space, which is great. But I wanted to ask you a little bit about DeFi. We've spoken about FashionFi and how it, the sort of crossover with Bitliberte, but in general with DeFi, I mean, in the environment that you're in, do you see it like growing exponentially? Are there any roadblocks? Are there any hindrances from? We've obviously spoken about the taxation issue and the legal issues. How will the development of DeFi actually help what you're doing in your business?
There are no legal issues around this, because the thing is, we are consulting a legal firm and we are doing everything properly. There is one issue of scaling our DeFi protocols. Like if we go to DApp Radar and start checking the largest DeFi projects on Polygon, right? We'll see that there are 10 to 15K audience even in the top 10 projects, which is very small as compared to if we start checking how Web3 companies work. There will be millions of audience in top 10 to 15 products, right? So that is a big roadblock, bringing the people to start using their Trust Wallet and MetaMask wallets to start interacting with our protocol.
And how important do you think it is to, I mean, you know how easy it is for us to spend money with a credit card, to have an ATM card, to utilize that sort of functionality. You know, how important do you think it is for us to actually get to a point where Web2 users can utilize the same type of functionality that they used to, but obviously working with Web3 interfaces in DeFi? Because I mean, let's face it, setting up a MetaMask, getting all the functionality, the staking pools, all that type of thing organized, it's actually quite complex for somebody that doesn't know anything about Web3.
Exactly. That is why we have recently partnered with a project called Mope. They are recently basically funded by Balaji Srinivasan and a lot of such angel investors. They are basically building a smooth payment gateway for the people getting onboarded in the crypto space. Like if you go to Amazon, you start paying, you get a payment gateway. You can simply just put your credit card number and pay via it, right? Similarly, correct, they are building a simple to use payment gateway. So that is how we are resolving this problem on our project. We will be integrating that protocol.
Yeah, I think when that happens and people can use it seamlessly, it makes it a lot easier.
Exactly. Transact with crypto.
Yeah, absolutely right. So crypto might run in the back end, but on the front end, somebody's still using, you know, apps and things that the functionality of which, the UI, they are used to using. So they're not having to relearn it. I think when that happens with the whole Web3 space, we'll suddenly see this massive adoption, because now people don't have to go through this whole painful process of learning and trying to figure out what's happening on the inside and really not being very sure.
Exactly. So a simple to use UI with which you are familiar will be really great for the people, because they will be able to transact with ease without even stopping at even a single place. Like they will not have to consult with anyone. What do I have to do here? How do I do it? Something like that.
Yeah, absolutely right. I've really enjoyed chatting to you, Vaibhav. You've got an amazing company, a great idea. I wonder if you wouldn't mind just in maybe the last couple of minutes, just telling us a little bit more about how a user, what we can look forward to with Bitliberte and how you see it evolving into the future.
I mean, absolutely. We are initially launching with our V1 e-commerce platform, as I said before. So V1 e-commerce platform is basically using to bring users from web to world to our own platform. Once we scale it to a certain level, then we'll be going live with our V2 platform, which will be a tab version of e-commerce thing. That way consumers can participate in anything. They can start earning, they can start owning, they can play and win crypto rewards and physical deliverables. There is a lot of things going on inside the Bitliberte ecosystem.
Can you just touch on that? Tell me a little bit about the gamification, about that play to earn.
Absolutely. So it will be a simple game like spin to win kind of thing, which you get on Amazon. We are not making complicated. We are keeping the UI very simple as current e-commerce platforms for the people, so that people can easily use it. So it will be a simple thing like we get on Amazon, a spin to win thing like we get on Amazon, and people can win cashbacks, rewards, and other things. That is how it will work.
Sometimes it is the simplest thing. I mean, we all like that, don't we? Just a spin to win. I know if I'm a winner or not. And then those rewards, are they, I can redeem them within the Bitliberte ecosystem?
There will be crypto rewards, which will be in form of gift cards, which you can redeem on our partner exchange. It will work that way.
Okay. And can I use them for products, or would I have to redeem them for?
I mean, there will be a lot of things. There will be discount coupons. There will be crypto rewards. There will be physical deliverables, like you can get t-shirts, hoodies, and other things. There is no limit on what users can earn from it.
That sounds amazing. It really sounds like you put a lot of thought into it, and well done. It's been really great chatting to you, Vaibhav. I really look forward to your success. I mean, you've got a great idea and a very, very interesting project, and wish you all the best.
Thank you very much for having me here today. It was really great talking to you.
Absolute pleasure. I look forward to chatting to you in the future again.
Sure. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you.